project 2, the project that is in Module 7, we're going to need to download 2 things. You're going to download the house listing price by region in Excel. It's the same file we've been working with. And then we're going to need to look at this document, the national statistics and graphs. Okay, so let's go to Excel. I've already got this ready, and it says to pick a region from one of this list: West South Central, West North Central, East South Central, East North Central, or Mid-Atlantic. Okay, I'm going to choose the East South Central. And we're going to do our randomization that we've been doing. Okay, now it says take a random sample of 500 observations. Okay, we're going to be comparing the prices to the national market and the square feet. Okay, so we don't need these top rows. So I'm going to just click on row 1, delete, delete, delete. Okay, it does ask you to talk about the states. So go ahead and write down what states you have here. I choose this because I live in Mississippi and I'm from Tennessee, so I've chosen this list. Okay, once you've written down the states so that you can put it in your report, we can delete states, counties. Okay, I know that I'm doing the East South Central region. I need the list prices. I don't need cost per square foot this time. Okay, so I'm going to delete those. I can look at those numbers and tell that that's price and those are square feet. We're going to do our randomization equals RAND. Okay, I'm going to click it and hit enter. Okay, now I need to do this all the way down. Okay, all the way down. Okay, and I need to go all the way down to the very end like we've been doing. Okay, this random number generator is the same thing that we've been using. I believe there's probably close to 1,000. Okay, if you're on a Windows, you can use the page down. I'm just holding shift and down on my Mac because I'm not very good with my trackboard thing on my Mac. Okay, we're almost there. Once we get all the way down, we're going to fill down that random number generator, and then we're going to select 500. Okay, fill down. Okay, now I'm going to type C1 here. That'll take me back to the top. Okay, click on C, sort and filter, smallest to largest. Expand, remember, makes that row stay the same. Makes this house that's this price and this square feet stay as a row because each row represents a house. Okay, sort. Now I'm going to jump down to C500. Okay. And I need a sample of 500, so I'm just going to select these two. Now that I've sorted the random numbers, I'm going to select the 500 homes. And I'm going to take it to a new spreadsheet, or a new tab in the spreadsheet. So I'm just working with these two columns that I need and my random sample of 500. The 500 houses in this region. Okay, you can pick anything listed there in the directions. Be sure you wrote down what states that this is from, okay? So I'm going to copy, come down here to plus to just make a new tab and paste. Okay, this needs to be larger, like 200%. Okay, so this sheet right here is what we're using. Okay, for part 1, it says, are the housing prices in your region lower than the national average? Okay, so we need to know what the national average is. And this is the document we need, national average. Okay, prices. Okay, so what's the mean for the national average? $342,365. That's the mean for the 1,000 homes. Okay, let's go back to our spreadsheet. Okay. What is the purpose of our analysis? Okay, we're going to compare list price in whatever region you chose to the national average. Okay, we are going to define our hypothesis. It wants to compare the mean list price. Okay, our parameter is the mean list price in whatever region you chose. Write the null and alternate hypothesis. The HO is always equal. Okay, either write the word mean, or in your summary you can use the insert symbols to find the Greek letter mu. HO is always equal. Okay, we're comparing the mean to the national average, 342,365. Alternate hypothesis. Now it is said, your region, is it lower than national? So that means that's the alternate hypothesis. The national value is 365. Okay. In words, is the mean list price in the blank region less than the national average list price? Okay. The inference test that we will use, okay, we will use a one sample t-test. It's going to be left-tailed. The reason it's left-tailed is because HA has the less than. Okay, you'll want to write this up in nice sentences when you do your work. Okay, the significance level let's use 0.05. Okay. Summarize your sample data using graphical displays. Okay, so we're doing list price. So I want to find a histogram for my list price of my 500. Okay, so I want to highlight just the list price that we're using. And then we're going to use our insert. Okay, it said provide at least one histogram for your data. Insert. Okay, we're going to go to recommended charts, and we want to choose this one right here, our histogram. Okay, let's give it a nice title. List price. And now write whatever region you chose. Okay. Now, a histogram's not very good if you can't see those numbers there. Okay. You want to be able to see your numbers down here along the axis. Okay. The beginning and ending number. Okay. We can also do our chart elements. Okay, our titles. Double click in here. This is list price. Our vertical. Now remember, these are frequencies here along this axis. This is our frequencies. Okay. All right, what do the frequencies mean? The frequencies mean how many are in that category. And you can put the numbers there. And it looks like I somehow deleted my values here. Okay, so we want to label that. Those are our list prices. Remember, the height is your area. Okay, let me go back to the histogram. There we go. I just clicked back on it and it gave me my values. Okay, so the height is our frequencies. All right, so we've done our histogram. Make a table for your summary statistics, sample size, mean, median, standard deviation. Okay, so I'm going to jump back up here to A1. Okay, just in this top, you can jump to a cell. Okay, I'm going to use formulas, more statistical. Average. Okay, that's not what I want. Now I can just type A1 colon A500. Okay, and hit enter or done depending on what type of device you're using. Okay, so this is my list price. Actually going to put that here. Okay, cut paste. This is list price. It's all list price. This is the mean list price for my region. Sorry. Okay. I need the median list price. Okay, I want to go back to my formulas. More statistical. Median. A1 colon A500. Okay, standard deviation. More statistical. Okay, we're going to use the standard deviation with S because it is a sample of 500. It's not all of the data. A1 to A500. Okay, or you can highlight them. That's faster. Okay. I'm going to increase the decimal here to dollars and cents. I'm going to decrease that to dollars and cents as well. Okay, so I've got my summary statistics. N is the number in the sample, which is 500. Okay, it says summarize your data. That's the same thing that we've been doing. You want to look at your chart. Okay, I'm not going to go all the way back down there. Look at your chart. Is it left skewed or right skewed? Is it normally distributed? The same that we've been doing. Okay, and then it also says compare it to the national information. Okay, so look back at the table on the other document and compare. Okay, then if the normal conditions have been met, our sample size, we have a large sample size that is random. Okay, so those are our conditions. Okay, we need to find our test statistic and find the p-value. Okay, so this is our HO and our HA. The test statistic. Okay, you take the sample mean minus the target. The target is the value from HO. You divide by the standard deviation divided by the square root of n. So let's do that in steps. Okay, so our numerator, what's on top, equals our sample mean minus 342, 365. Okay, so this one's below the national average. All right, the square root of n, let's do the square root of n right here, equals square root of that number. Okay, so what is our denominator? Our denominator equals you take the standard deviation, you divide by, okay, anytime you do a formula, you use equal. You divide by the square root of n, which is right here, okay? So our test statistic equals okay, this is our t-value. It equals the top divided by the bottom, okay? I like to do the calculations in small steps so I don't get messed up with the order of operations, okay? All right, so there's our test statistic. And we need to find the p-value, okay? The p-value is basically the probability of HO being true. So we're going to use formulas more statistical. Okay. Now, this was left-tailed because HA was less than. Okay, so we use T dot distribution. Okay, the number is your test statistic. The degrees of freedom is n minus 1. So 500 minus 1. Okay, that means your sample minus 1. 500 minus 1 is 499. Okay, and for cumulative, you put true. All right, I am very glad that mine came out this way. A p-value must be between 0 and 1 because it's a probability. This p-value is not 2.9. 2.9 is not the p-value. The e minus 117 is scientific notation, okay? That means to take that decimal between 2 and the 9 and move it left 117 times. Okay, if you see e minus, that is practically 0. Okay, so what would I say for this one? The p-value is less than our significance. Reject HO. There is enough evidence to support the claim that the mean list price in the East, South, Central region is less than the national average. Okay, what does that mean? Homes in this region are priced at lower than the national average. Okay, now you only say this part right here if your p-value is less than 0.05. Okay, so that concludes our one-tailed test. Okay, our two-tailed test is going to be with our square feet. Okay, I'm going to move copy the square feet values into a new tab so that I have room to write up my summary for the two-tailed test. Two-tailed test is used when the HA is not equal. What does that mean? That means we don't know if we're testing if it's less or more than a number. We're just trying to see if they're different, okay? For the two-tailed test, for the second one, it said are the values different? Okay, so I'm going to copy, paste this into a new tab. Okay, while it's still highlighted, I think that's a good time to insert my histogram. Okay, so there's my histogram. Okay, remember you want to change your label titles. Okay, this is square feet for the East, South, Central region. Okay. All right. And there's different options. You can choose different colors and stuff like that. Okay. And then insert your two titles. Okay, with your add chart elements. Okay, I'm going to skip that so we can move on. All right, we're on the two-tailed test. Okay, our parameter is the mean square feet of homes in the whatever region. Okay, it's not our sample of 500. Okay, parameter means the whole thing. All right, our null and alternate hypothesis. The mean is, well, we need to compare it to the national average. Let's go back to our document. Okay, here's square feet. What's the mean for the national? Square feet is 2,111. Okay, so our HO is the mean equals 2,111. HA, the mean is not equal to 2,111. Okay, you can, in your write-ups, you can use your insert formulas to find, when your Word document, you can use insert symbols, and that is how you can type mu. Okay, we're testing that the mean square feet in the insert your region is different from the national average. Okay, HO is always equal, HA is your claim. Okay, we've written our hypothesis. We're going to use a significance level of 0.05 again. Okay, you'll write all this up nicely in sentences. All right, our conditions have been met. Large random sample again. Large random sample like we had last time. Okay, our histogram we just did. Okay, screenshot that, put it in your write-up. Our summary statistics, okay, so this is square feet. We're going to do the mean, median, standard deviation, sample size. I'm just going to write N. We know that's the sample size of 500. Formulas, more. Statistical, average. We want the average of A1 to A500. Okay, the mean, oops, sorry, that should go there. I'm going to cut and paste that here. The median, okay, we're doing the median of A1 to A500, okay. I've got a recently used formula tab over here. Remember, you're just going to formulas, more statistical, okay. Our standard deviation, more statistical. Standard deviation of the sample, A1 to A500. Okay, I'm going to decrease these decimals a little bit, and since that one's exactly 2,000, we can leave it like that. Let's increase this. Okay. Now remember, that's not dollars. This is square feet. Okay. We're using a one sample t-test. It's one sample because there's only one set of numbers, A1 through A500. Okay. This is going to be a two-tailed test since HA has not equal. Find our test statistic. Okay, our test statistic is the same calculation as before. Okay, except this time, I'm going to copy that and paste it here with one edit. What is our target? Our HO is that we're seeing if it is different from 2,111. Okay, so our numerator is the sample mean minus 2,111. So I'm going to use equal this minus 2,111. Okay, that means negative if it's in parentheses. Okay, negative, it's parentheses. Now, the reason it did that, it's for some reason in the accounting mode. Let's change it to general. There we go. We can decrease some of those decimals. Okay, our denominator, we take the standard deviation divided by the square root of n. So let's do the square root of n. The square root of, there's where n is. The denominator equals the standard deviation divided by the square root of n. Okay, so our test stat our t-value equals our numerator divided by our denominator. Okay, so there's our test statistic. Now, this time we're going to be using a two-tailed test, and so we need our p-value. So we want to use our formulas, more statistical. Our two-tailed, Okay, so X equals our number. And our degrees of freedom, remember, are n minus 1. Okay. Now, you see how it didn't do it? On this, you want to use the positive. So 3.2773. You want to use the positive there. Okay. The right tail, or excuse me, the two-tail p-value, you want to put in the positive of the test statistic. Okay. The reason you want to put positive is because that's what Excel is doing. It's just doubling the right tail. Okay, so the p-value is less than 0.05. Reject HO. Enough evidence to support the claim that the mean is different than the national average. Okay, we don't know if it's more or less. We don't know if it's more or less. One thing, when you're doing hypothesis testing, never say prove. Okay, you can't prove anything with sample data. There's enough evidence. Okay, or we can never prove something if we don't have all the data. Okay, let's see where we are. Okay, so I've interpreted it. Remember, if yours is more, you fail to reject not enough evidence. Okay, so we're on 2 tests. We did the calculations. We interpreted it. And comparison of the test results. All right, we want to find our confidence intervals. Okay, so while we're still here, the interval is you take the mean minus the margin of error, and then you take the mean plus the margin of error. Okay, we can calculate the margin of error. Using a formula or using a function. More statistical. Okay, we're using t-tests. So we're going to do confidence t. Alpha is 0.05. Our standard deviation is here. And our size, we have 500 in our sample. Okay, so this will find the margin of error. Okay, so there's our margin of error, the 95% interval. Okay. The lower bound equals the mean minus the error. Okay, the mean minus the error, D9 minus D23. Okay, this is our margin of error right here. Okay, so this is the lower. The upper, you take the mean plus the error. Okay. Now, that means we're 95% confident that the true mean for this region is between these two values. Okay. Since the national average is not in this interval. 2, 1, 1, 1 is not in that interval. Okay, that also supports the decision that the mean is not 2, 1, 1, 1. Okay, that also supports our decision that the mean is not 2, 1, 1, 1. Okay, now let's go back to our instructions. Okay, summarize your findings and go back to everything that we've done. Okay, summarize what we did with the list price and also the square feet. Okay, and discuss whether you're surprised or not. And that is the end of our project.